What do you think?
Very well. Okay, first question is on meditation. I'd like to know specifically, been doing it for a while, and I feel like there's something more there for me. I've been attempting to do different things. So at first, what I would do is concentrate solely on the breath, the 3 counts in and the 5 counts out. That's on the CD. And got like amazing things happen, especially when I first started doing it way back when.
Yeah, because it was a process that helped you to release a lot of resistance.
Oh, big time. It was falling off like crazy.
There's a little bit of difference between releasing resistance and really tuning to the receiving mode. And releasing resistance is important before you're even ready to deliberately tune to the receiving mode. When you decide that you're going to tune and hear or tune and receive an impulse, that's a decision that is based upon a lot of knowing. First of all, you understand and believe what we were just talking about. You understand that there is a higher power, an inner being, an infinite intelligence, a source energy who is flowing to you. Oh, knowing that matters so much. And then once you know that, then you might want to listen to what it has to say about some things that you've got going on. Yeah.
And I get that, and through the years of doing it, absolutely, especially with baseball, before I'd go address the guys, I'd meditate before I got there. And as I was meditating, all these ideas would come about what I want to say to him, so on and so forth.
And do you find that when those ideas come like that, that there's movement from following through on the impulse?
Of course.
Yes. Already receiving results. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So what more are you looking for?
You've been talking a lot about like focusing on the air conditioning, or focusing on a small sound.
Doesn't matter how you get there.
Okay.
Just quiet your mind. If you're receiving that, then you're doing it.
Okay. That's basically what I wanted to ask, because the deep breaths, I felt the 3 count in and 5 count out was what was bringing someone breathing for me, as opposed to when I just listen for a sound, I don't get the clarity of the breath.
So here's the question. Do you want somebody to breathe for you, or do you want somebody to give you good ideas?
I'd like both. The breath feels amazing.
Yeah, but you've got the breathing thing down.
Okay.
But you know how to breathe. Now you're reaching for some ideas. You're not short on breathing. One thing before the other. That it's a wonderful thing to be in the receptive mode. It's an even more wonderful thing to start receiving. Now, the breathing, that was receiving. In other words, that's an impulse. It was an easy impulse because you weren't fighting the idea of that, where you might be fighting the idea of some of the other things. It's that and then this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking on that regard. Okay, so in regards to baseball, what I wanted to ask was, I'm on the cusp of the next logical step, which is being in the big leagues, and it's already been talked about for me for next season with the current organization I'm in. And so what I know about all this lovely information is the universe will only obviously provide it to me if I'm ready for it. And I have feelings of pure clarity. I am ready for this. This is the next logical step.
If you're in a place where you're receiving breathing, and you're in a place where you're receiving thoughts, and you're offering those thoughts, you are ready to receive anything you desire. But there's a part of you.
Look, I've been receiving those thoughts for quite some time now.
Because there's a part of you that...
That's why I'm in the chair, because you're about to say...
Drum roll, please. There's a part of you that still believes that there's something else you have to do before you deserve it.
That's why I'm here.
Well, there isn't.
Okay. But that part is what? What is that specifically? Because I feel what it is me always being worried about what they're thinking about me.
Old habit of thought. It's just that old habit of thought. You see, here's what it is. When you're in a position where you believe, and you do believe this, and it's logical that you would, that someone else's decision will be the controlling factor in what happens next, instead of that what's going on with you vibrationally will be the deciding factor on what's going on next.
I get mixed in both of
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
So as you just remind yourself, hey, this isn't up to you, this is up to me, and I got it handled. That's the way you got to feel when you look at them. Not hopeful or pining, just know. And as we were saying to our friend earlier, this well-being does not have to come through you, that vortex. This is coming to me, however it's coming to me, but it's coming to me. Might be you, might be somebody else. And that sort of clears that out.
Totally. And I agree. And I feel like I'm already doing that for the most part. The part that I'm talking about is I want to step into that next logical step with as much ease and ease of transition as possible.
So you want to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready? The question is not to us, the question is to you. How ready do you feel?
Okay. So that's why I'm sitting here.
How capable are you?
1,000,000%.
Oh, you are
capable.
so capable.
Unbelievable.
How effective are you?
It's not
There's
a question.
none better.
I don't even know why you're asking.
How inspired are you? So you're ready?
So why do I care about what they think?
Because you think they are the path.
No, I mean, like even the players. Like if I got on the staff next year, I'm worried about when I go to spring training if they're going to receive me or not. I'm worried if they're going to accept me or just push me away. And I am. That's one of those things that I delve into.
Well, then you need to integrate. You want to integrate what your inner being knows whenever you think about them. But this is that same story that we were just talking about. Should I push myself into that so then I'll feel that? Or should I feel that and then that will happen? This is the same conversation, isn't it? And so as you acknowledge what you're ready for, and you just did, and there was no quivering in your vibration whatsoever, as you just know that. So then take it to this place. You know what it feels like when you're really tuned in and your inner being is flowing. You know what it feels like when you receive an impulse and you act on that impulse. You know what that feels like. So you could say to yourself, and we would say it often for a little while, when I've got access to that, to all that, and I know when I'm doing it and when I'm not, why am I looking to anybody else for what I can only get there? Which would cause you to say to yourself, because that's a foolish thing to do. There's no reason whatsoever to look for it there rather than there. But there's this feeling, because you see, what's going on all around you is so present all the time. And this connection, you're only associating with meditation a little bit. In other words, it's this still small voice that I might hear.
Or separate from baseball.
And so it feels to you like this conversation is not as prevalent as all these conversations, and everybody is around you and they have these strong impressions of themselves, and the way they feel about themselves is almost completely dependent upon how they put themselves in terms of stature in comparison with everyone else. So they've really got that going on. You are in the most egotistical environment that you could ever be in.
I know.
They're just beating their chests all over the place at each other. That's just who they are.
That's what I'm saying.
That's just who they are. But, just think about the power of infinite intelligence in relationship to that stupid stuff they do. And let them do it and feel amused as you see them doing these childish things, as you coax them into their own alignment so that they can do magnificent things. But don't let their not understanding when they get tuned in keep you from tuning in. Yeah. When we say it's inevitable, that means it's inevitable. When we say you can't miss this, that means you can't miss it. When we say it's happening, that means it's happening. But that little bit of impatience, that's the culprit, isn't it? And that impatience is the indicator that sometimes you look over there instead of up there, and over there instead of over here, and over here instead of there, but you're doing it less and less all the time. Yes?
Yeah, because physically, not vibrationally anymore, now actually physically, it is right there.
It is right there.
Yeah.
So, one very last piece.
Okay.
You know that feeling of, like maybe you've experienced it too, where when you're meditating and once you really get into it, it is like someone is breathing you. Esther described it as she felt like a bellows that someone else was pumping the air in. So that feels to you like someone is doing something for you or to you. Just sit with that for a little bit, and you kind of like that. That'd be like somebody taking your arm and making you throw a fastball, or it'd be like somebody putting a pen in your hand and writing wise things with your hand. And that's the misimpression that a lot of people think, that that's what will happen, where listening or getting in the receptive mode so that you can receive a thought. Now you're involved. Now you've got to do your part. There's a little bit of hesitancy about how well you think you can do that part, but you can do that part.